Over this morning on MSNBC earlier today, the crew at Morning Joe, they tried to extract sanity from this weekend's insane clown posse of GOP performances. But as you'll see, they have a revealing conversation that quickly turns into speculation. Well, that behind all this toxic nonsense about dog eating, which by the way was started by the man cows fear the most, behind that lies the insidious possibility that should terrify Trump's most ardent supporters. In Laura Loomer, has the clown prince of the GOP finally found his Harley Quinn?
Give the people what they want.
And with all apologies to Lady Gaga, the kind and gentle MAGA mavens are losing their minds about Laura Loomer all this weekend. Have a look.
Her rhetoric and her tone does not match the base, does not match MAGA, does not match most Republicans I know, and I'm completely denouncing it.
Now, before we show you the Morning Joe breakdown from earlier today on MSNBC, especially Mika Brzezinski's shock at the femme fatale of the Republican Party's behavior, hey, let's spend a few quality moments together and get to know the little peach that has put such a smile on Donald Trump's face all weekend.
So malicious, so disrespectful to Donald Trump and Melania Trump. They've taken it so far. And you know, if I was a leftist journalist, if I was a Democrat, oh my God, the media would be up in arms if the Republican media was doing this to a a left-wing journalist. Oh my God, they're misogynist. They're bullying a woman. They're trying to Monica Lewinsky her. They're demonizing her. They're trying to discredit the fact that she's a working woman. I mean, look, I know that Kamala Harris sucked get where she is today, okay? And she had to sleep with Willie Brown in order to get to the top. But some of us women, right, we actually work hard. Some of us women have no desire to have sexual affairs with politicians or men with elite political status. I know that Kamala Harris can't say the same, but, believe me when I say that that's not me. Or as Kamala Harris likes to say, they ain't like us, right? She ain't like me. I ain't like her. Okay, I don't suck dick to get to the top. That's what Kamala Harris does.
Well, thank you, Laura Loomer, for clarifying your ascension to the bottom. And now, as promised, here we have the great analysis from earlier today at MSNBC of Trump's growing deterioration and one of the most revolting reasons behind it. Now, we know his infantile need for approval will make Donald cozy up to pretty much anyone, no matter how horrible they are. Now, couple that with the chance to couple. Ugh. That is, after all, his Achilles bone spur. I think Mika's reaction speaks for all of us.
Desperate Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are making up these stories.
And cruel.
And how cruel. And the danger that they put people who are in Springfield legally, how cruel they are.
Yeah. Joe, I mean... to give J.D. Vance, to credit his argument here, it's sort of like saying that hunger is a problem in America. And in order to get the press to focus on the problem of hunger, the real problem of hunger in America, I'm going to say that there's been an invasion of zombies or body snatchers. Who all have been, to make it racist, also African body snatchers, zombies who have come and are eating all the food. I mean, he's trying to say there's a real problem, that there's a stress on the community because there's been this influx of immigrants. Mike DeWine says there have been we have 15,000 immigrants here. There's been some strains on the social safety net. And J.D. Vance has used that as a justification for just continuing to blatantly go around the Sunday shows yesterday and say, I'm going to keep lying. I'm just going to do it, and this is my justification. It's outrageous, obviously. Now, the reality here is the Trump campaign is saying to anyone who will listen, we would rather take the hits for lying about this than as long as we're talking about an issue that we think favors us, which is immigration, rather than talking about other issues which do not favor us, such as women's reproductive health and abortion and other things. They're just trying to keep their view is they don't care about the human impact on the ground in Springfield. They don't care about whether somebody gets hurt. Mika, I think you're it's cruel, and more than that, it's just totally detached from any kind of responsibility. Their attitude is that they see this through the very cynical prism of politics. I would say that their problem with this is that you had said the words that are the problem here. Laura Loomer is the problem here. And I mean that not merely in the fact that Laura Loomer's a crazed hate speech peddling.
Can you explain who she is?
Well, she's one of the most toxic, most poisonous people on the far right. She has espoused, if there's a conspiracy theory or a form of hate speech that has ever been uttered by anybody ever in the MAGA sphere, she has propounded it. She has been banned from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. She's been banned from. She's been banned from delivery food apps, Mika. They won't let her get DoorDash because of her hate speech on delivery food applications, and she has suddenly become Donald Trump's constant companion. She is everywhere with Donald Trump. The Drudge Report was up for most of the weekend with photographs of the two of them, Donald Trump and Laura Loomer, being very handsy with each other and suggesting in very unstraightforward terms what is on fire on the internet and on Bill Maher's show and other places, which are suggestions that the two of them have a relationship. That is the running conversation.
Rumors.
No
evidence of that.
But what is she doing on the campaign? Is she on the campaign?
Just to say to Joe, I agree. There's no evidence of it other than the fact that she is someone who people on the Trump campaign do not want to be traveling with him.
Well,
people in Donald Trump's orbit do not want to have traveling with him. Right. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tom Tillis, everyone thinks that this woman is bad news for Donald Trump, and yet he continues to take her around with him everywhere, which raises questions as to why. And that is why it's fueling the speculation about what's going on here, because there's no good political reason to have someone who is this
not a reason to deduce. That's not a reason to deduce an inappropriate. I think it deduces that he is making terrible decisions as to how to run his campaign.
Yes.
Because if you say there's a conspiracy theory that she, there's not a conspiracy theory she would avoid, that she embraces them and that she pushes them, it seems like this turn has taken as her name has come up.
Well, I think the real problems began, of course, there were concerns that a conspiracy theorist was at the debate in Donald Trump's group, but also, of course, Elise, the real concern on September 11th, which is basically an American, day of remembrance, one of the most sacred, that 9/11 truther would be in Donald Trump's entourage with him at the events.
Every day this clown show continues, it flecks little pieces of respectability and decency off our national character like so much face paint.
She's ugly on the inside. She's an empty vessel. She's cancerous. And it seems that Donald Trump attaches to people like that. You know, two things happen at the historic event, like 9/11. Advocacy and conspiracy theories. I chose the advocacy.